cash is trash. Cash is not king.
Cash flow.
Cash flow is king. Come to find out, BlackRock bought it.
Yeah.
And they secretly changed the laws where these chickens they're eating soy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they did, third-party lab testing, and they discovered that they were just putting paprika and stuff to make the yolk more yellow. Unifying in your industry is not surrender. It's legacy.
It's becoming part of a team. It's
Well,
becoming,
you're
because
taking-
we're all on this is our mission. Our mission is to save the insurance space and to save insurance agencies and brokers.
If you're still in this business after many years, and you're still doing the writing of business, selling the business, and servicing the business, you're not growing. You're prey for the PE companies. What we're seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, what we're seeing right now in our government is appalling. These monkeys are leading this world.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up. Boom, Jubilee. That's the word that came, Jubilee.
Here
Harvest. Here we are. Last week, we talked about revolutionizing, because we're here to revolutionize the insurance space.
Right.
Some of you might think, what does that mean?
True.
So I want to start off with that. What I see happening is that the private equity groups out there, they understand that insurance is very lucrative.
Right.
So what are they doing?
Buying up mom and pop shops left and right.
So a lot of independent agencies are being offered millions of dollars. Hint, hint, they understand something most people don't.
Mm.
They understand that a book of business is a remarkable asset.
Yeah. Cash flow.
Right. So they're preying on people's weaknesses.
Right. Because they have the backing.
They have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your average owner of an insurance agency typically? Where are they typically?
What do you mean?
In terms of their mental state, their physical state, their emotional state,
Okay.
their where are they in life?
The
they're
average owner?
well, that's who's being bought out,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
average owner is being bought out.
Yeah, because being an independent agent is very complex. It takes a lot of wherewithal to put together a system that works and a staff that also works, right? And because of the complexities of insurance, claims, dealing with clients, service, billing, sometimes they can reach a certain point, especially at a certain revenue, where it becomes overwhelming, right? And they kind of hit this plateau, especially like under the $1 million gross revenue mark. Around that time is when everything starts to become compounded and more complex. So that's where these PE, private equity groups, come in and say, hey, we realize that you've reached that $1 million mark. How about we give you 3X, 2X, whatever it is? And it's tempting for an owner, especially if they're still trying to navigate the waters,
Well,
still trying to figure it out.
This is typical. The person spent 2-3 decades in the business.
Yes.
They've plateaued for a long time. They have usually, health issues. They have
Very common.
mental issues, stress issues. And it's very easy for them to just say, well, I spent 3 decades doing this, 2 decades, or even a decade. Here, I'll take the couple of million. But cash is trash. Cash is not king.
Cash flow.
Cash flow is king. So when Fadaie says we want to revolutionize the industries, we want to save the insurance retail agent model
Yeah.
away from PE groups and AI. And I'm going to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening right now. The problem with that is what happens when BlackRock, Vanguard, all these big, huge, gigantic companies buy stuff? What happens to it?
They restructure it completely, and typically they'll They're looking at the bottom line. They're not insurance people. So they're looking at the bottom line and how can they be more profitable? That's what they're looking at.
Well, I'll just give you an example. I love eating eggs. I eat tons of eggs, probably like 10 eggs a day. So I used to buy this company that made pasture-raised eggs, and the super yellow. The yolk is very yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, BlackRock bought it,
Yeah.
and they secretly, in a sneaky way, changed the laws where these chickens they're eating soy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they did third-party lab testing, and they discovered that they were just putting paprika and stuff to make the yolk more yellow.
Yeah. It's very common in eggs.
And it's not exactly what is being promised, and you're buying these eggs at a premium. Anyways, so my point is, when big PE groups get involved, they ruin industries.
Right, because they're looking at the bottom line. Soy is mass produced and subsidized by the government in this example.
Right.
So it's less expensive for them to feed these chickens soy, and they can produce more. They can have more profit.
So here it is, folks. PE groups are there to appease their investors. Their investors can give to what about our industry.
Yeah.
What's the end result? Poor quality. The same attitude from leadership eventually trickles down to the consumer level, and then consumers get less quality experience. Customer experience plummets.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's part of the rat race. Fadaie is here to save that. Save independent agents from being duped into selling out.
Yeah.
So what? You get $10 million, $5 million, half of it goes away.
To the government.
More than half goes away. And then you have money. What are you going to do with that money? It's a liability. You're going to have to do something. You're going to be bored. You love insurance because that's what you started with. What are you going to do now? You're going to run a coffee shop and lose your shirt because you don't know what you're doing in your 60s? No. So what's the remedy? Unify.
Yeah.
We need to unify. Fadaie Insurance franchise is a means to revolutionize the insurance space, the retail space, by allowing folks who are already in the business and those who aren't, who want to come into the business. There's two strokes. To unify so we can save our industry. Because when the business is done right, there should be joy, there should be happiness, there should be...
Yeah.
Because what are people affording us? Trust.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful signal. That's a powerful transmission. The power of trust is powerful. And that's what gives me the joy and you the joy in doing this. People entrust us. Mm-hmm. And so we want to come through for them. So that's what this is about on a more, again, metaphysical level. Mm. So what does it take to be a happy owner? We go back to the holistic part of insurance, which is what we at Fadaie, that is basically our what sets us apart in the industry is the holistic, heart-centered approach to running an insurance agency.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you don't love what you're doing and you're going to work every day and you hate it, maybe it's because you're an owner and you're burnt out, like you said. What's the point? Like, your life is miserable. You're not enjoying it. What's the point of doing it, right? And some people, they have the will, the ambition, the drive. They want to own their own thing. I get that because that's us, right? But at the end of the day, if you're frustrated and miserable because you don't know what systems to use or you don't know, certain aspects of the business and you're trying to figure it out as you go, that's where the franchise for us comes in, because it's like we have all the infrastructure, we have all the AI, we have all the systems in place so that you are able to grow your business and plug and play, essentially.
What do you think the number one obstacle to that is? Why do folks don't want to join a group? What do you think that is?
I think they probably see it as constraining or losing some sort of freedom. Most people who are entrepreneurs do it because they want freedom, and they want to see if they can do it. They want to see, how far can I take this? I know I have this ambition and this drive inside of me. That's why we become entrepreneurs, because we have that, and the creativity aspect of it, right? So a lot of people, I think, would say, I'd rather do it on my own because I'm creative, I'm ambitious, I have what it takes. I know I have it in me. So I think that would probably be the rebuttal.
But they're not.
Right.
So that's fluke.
Right. But you asked me why. That's what I'm
I
giving you.
I don't think so. I think what it is it's ego.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Well, they don't want to surrender a part of themselves.
Well, it's a malefic program. This word surrender.
Yeah.
Is that they think they're giving up something.
Right.
But what's really happening is that the PE groups are they're coming in, with their wolves in sheep's clothing, handing them money. That's surrender.
Right.
That's actually surrender.
Yeah.
Unifying in your industry is not surrender. It's legacy.
It's becoming part of a team. It's
Well,
becoming,
you're taking,
because we're all on this. This is our mission. Our mission is to save the insurance space and to save insurance agencies and brokers. In order to do that for people like us, we have to team up, because numbers speak volumes to carriers, to companies, to investors, and all of that. So that's why teaming up with other agencies makes sense.
So that's where the rub is. The rub is this misunderstanding of surrender. In this case, it's a metamorphosis. You're surrendering nothing. What you're actually doing is you're joining a unified group of like-minded individuals with a congruent ethos to render insurance to Americans the traditional way, whilst using AI technology.
Yes.
The fusion of the old and the new world together. This is what Fadaie Franchise is all about. And when you forego surrendering to the PE companies and cashing out, which is a liability move, you're going to lose legacy. When you join a group, whatever group, it could be a different group. It doesn't have to be Fadaie. I'm talking, at large. Join a group who has congruency, who believes in the insurance, because we all know the best rendered experience for the American policyholder is the independent insurance agency world because of the flexibility.
Flexibility, and we're the insured's advocate.
Yeah.
We're the ones that stand up for the insured. So
we do.
That's a very important aspect.
It is. Because why? Because our livelihood and our reputation is on the line.
Yeah.
That part is missing on the PE side.
Yeah.
The PE side is all about how do we cut costs. That means how do we cut agents? Mm-hmm. What's the biggest cost? Claims. What's the second biggest cost?
Commission.
Agent commission. So they want to take the agents out of the equation.
Right.
So how do they do that? By buying up traditional companies and revamping it to go direct.
Right.
But we already have a case study in America. When you go direct to consumer, what's missing? Quality is missing.
Yeah.
You're dealing with an 800 number. There is no more reputation at stake as it is now in our trajectory, in our dynamic.
Of course.
This is how quality starts to slip, and you lose your legacy. If I was that person and I had $10 million or whatever book, $3 million book, $2 million book, I would position it with a unified class and continue ascending and building cash flow, because cash flow is king.
Well, and then because we have the infrastructure, you can focus on that, right? Because we have the AI, because we have the tools, because we have
Service
the know-how,
team,
we have the service
leadership.
team. Exactly. So you're basically
L-
what you're
lead
doing
gen,
is you're buying into a system so that you can focus on what you need to focus on, which is what? Sales, which drives the engine forward, and being an advocate for your client.
or in the case of you're not writing business anymore now, you're just building relationships and bringing more relationships to your agents, right?
True. Yes.
That's what you do best. You should be out there socializing, promoting because everybody knows you've been in the industry for a long time,
Yeah.
promoting your agency and then sending leads over to your agent,
Yeah.
a person who's hungry for business. You're a senior at this point, and you're now a lead magnet. Besides the leads that Fadaie Franchise offers. Now, we have some questions today.
Yes.
So the point of these questions is that I could have a little challenge. So I could, challenging questions produce poignant and visceral answers. And these visceral answers may be perfect for what you're allowed to extract through these long form podcast sessions. So that's kind of what we thought of doing. So hit me with it, and I'll try to make my answers concise so we can squeeze it into the next 50 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. So define your offering as a franchise, and who is your ideal franchisee? What are the proven paths to this business ownership opportunity?
Our offer, in short, is to allow a person to come and become an insurance agency owner and succeed in this space. 20 years of proof of concept has been built. I started my agency in 2005, 6, and built 20 years of trial and error. Come to a point now where we formulated the 7 pillars, and that those 7 pillars now are part of the franchise offering. It's not rocket science. It's just something that 2 decades realized what it takes to make it.
Yeah.
The ideal person coming in is entrepreneur-minded. It's somebody who's willing to put it all in there, to go all out, to be completely engrossed in the insurance business, growing with us in an industry that's just, like I always say, it's the backbone of the economy. It's not going anywhere. It rides the waves of inflation. It's recession-proof. It has true residual income. It has pure flexibility. And it gives you the scalability because you don't have to write the business. You could hire somebody to do it, and you still have a 20% margin.
Yeah. Minimum.
Yeah. So, you have any more questions? We
Yes.
just machine gun these.
Well, I think I have a
But
piggyback question on
please
that,
do.
though, because we kind of were targeting existing insurance agencies, right? In the beginning of the conversation, we were talking about, if you're one of those that could potentially be bought out by PE, consider buying a franchise so that you could plug into a network that would support you to grow further. But who else is an ideal franchisee? To elaborate a little bit more on your answer.
Somebody who has retired early, who has grown children, they have cash, but they don't have cash flow. They want flexibility because they want to travel, but still run a business. But they don't have to write the business either. They can invest in an agent, plug it into Fadaie, and Fadaie ensures that they're growing. 10 years from now, they've got a thriving business, even before then, but especially, as every year goes on. This is also an ideal. This person already has emotional intelligence. They've succeeded in life already. but they need to make their money grow. Putting it in a long-term investment, they've already done that. That's not what this is about. They're looking for meaning in their life. They want to be helpful. They may want to render servanthood as part of their spiritual practice to the earth, and they want to do it through the means of asset protection. Does that help?
Yeah, definitely. I think that answers it. Okay.
I have most of the answers. You just have to get them, extract them out of me.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to piggyback on that last
love
question. Okay, from your experience, what are the top 3 to 5 frustrations that potential franchisees would face?
Lead generation, service work, infrastructure. Lead generation means, do you have a predictable way of getting leads every day? And is that lead generation growing every day? And do you know how to work those leads properly to increase your conversion? Check. Fadaie does that. That's the value.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2, who's going to do the service work when you get to $1 million? If you're still in this business after many years and you're still doing the writing of business, selling the business, and servicing the business, you're not growing. You're prey for the PE companies. They'll buy you out and the rest is history. So service, we handle service. So you don't. So you can produce more business and do the things you're supposed to do. We're elevating you to the CEO level. If you haven't become a CEO yet, by grafting into a Fadaie, you become a CEO. Number 3, infrastructure. Who's going to handle accounts payable, accounts receivable, commissions, transparency, reports, numbers? That's infrastructure. Those are 3 out of the 7 pillars to answer your question.
Yeah, and that's one of the major ones, being the person that handles that aspect. Choosing the right agency management system, choosing the right CRM, making sure that your systems actually function well together, and that you have visibility for both your agents who are producing for you and or yourself as a CEO, so that you can make the right decisions, right? So that you're seeing that, hey, I bought X amount of leads this month. If I scale that up, how much am I going to get a return on? So that type of stuff takes time and knowledge of technology.
Well, we collapse that time.
Yeah, so we've already built those
systems. So if your agent is taking a lead or you're taking a lead, we score that conversation when you take that lead. And if your score is 30%, 50%, we show you what to do in terms of what to ask, the setup, so you have 80, 90%. You're handling objections on the first call early. That means objections don't exist when you go to close them. This is a science. There's a method. There's a way. Fadaie is that way, So that's what it is. Next question.
I'm having to skip because you went through all of them already.
Well, that's a good thing.
Okay.
Mike might have some questions later. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. What deep desires pull people towards your franchise beyond income? Is it autonomy, work-life balance, scaling a business with built-in support, tailored to the insurance stability?
I mean, they're all important, but I think it's quality of life.
Yeah.
I have a successful marriage, 20 years doing this. There she is right there. I have successful children that love me, I have relationships with. I have a successful physiological life. I'm healthy. I have financial freedom. I have options. I have stability. It's holistic. This business, take it from me and Jamie, it's conducive if you want peace and happiness. That's why I think it is something of interest. You don't have to be at a location. You have flexibility. It's not a hard sell. Everybody has to have insurance.
True.
You're just going to do it better. You're just, because it's a community business. So when you join, whether it's Fadaie or some other, pick wisely. What's set apart with Fadaie is you get to work with the CEO and the founders. That's valuable, right? So that's why you're watching this forum. What are these people like? What's their body language? What's their kinesthetics?
Right.
What's their track history? You're dealing with authenticity and genuine heart-centeredness. Hope that,
Yeah. So to piggyback off of that, like how would you describe our ideal franchisee? Because we have a unique culture in our business. How would you describe that person?
Humility, coachability, tenacity, grit. I say that word a lot. It's the same thing as saying tenacity. Persevering. These are spiritual values.
Right.
What I'm talking about is patience. It turns out creating wealth is more to do with your inner values. Fadaie is an introspective entity. We don't believe, we go beyond believing. We know a higher intelligence is channeling through us. So we surrender to that higher intelligence, and that fosters into our ecosystem. So this ecosystem, and we don't just give these franchises away.
Right.
We award franchises because we want to make sure the person coming in is a fit for our ecosystem. The people that come in here, they're congruent on those ideals. They're spiritual ideals. Make no mistake about it. They are spiritual values. And this is a place where you don't have to forego spiritual ascension
right.
for professional. There's no tug of war there.
Right.
Here, you're in a unified team where both of those realms can exist. Yeah.
Yeah. And they complement each other. They're symbiotic. There's this relationship that's being had on a day-to-day basis, and everyone on our team, service, everyone on the executive level, we all are the same in that regard. So,
and heart-centeredness doesn't mean I'm going to pamper. See, that's the thing where people get wrong.
yes.
They think, oh, this is a soft place. Because when you think of higher intelligence, you think of love. Love is also tough love.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You're going to come in here, and if you're not stepping up, leveling up, you're going to be rebuked. That's what love, that's what heart-centeredness is. Heart-centeredness is balance.
Right.
It's not like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Embrace the fact that we all suck. So that's the suckitude. First of all, embrace it. Second of all, learn to get better, right? So it's about a commitment to evolution, to constantly improving, not proving, improving. So don't get that confused. It's a tough love. This is a place, it's an academy where you're going to be pushed to dig deep.
Well, and to kind of dig a little deeper on that is we are excellence minded, right? So the way you live personally in your life is all about excellence. You work out consistently. You cold plunge consistently. You meditate consistently. So it's about living a life of excellence so that we together can be excellent, right? And I think that's probably, unless you can think of another word, I think that's probably the word that comes to mind for our ethos, like how we operate as Fadaie.
Excellence means to excel. Notice the word. I like to unpack words. It's not about perfection. It's about excelling. It's a commitment to excellence. So most humans, 80% of humans have a hard time with that. That's fine. That's the way it is. We're here in this earth school. Leadership, however, should create a benchmark, a standard of excellence. Not perfection, but the commitment to excel. And when that's involved in an ecosystem, it's contagious. So when you come into the Fadaie ecosystem, by osmosis, there's an expectancy, a healthy one, and you're going to see yourself. We had a person that was part of a group, it was called SIAA. 10 years, they only got up to like 900,000 in premium. They joined us about 2.5 years ago.
I believe so, yes.
And they're at $1.4 million. In just 2.5 years, they increased their book size by $500,000 versus 10 years to 800,000.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because of the ecosystem that the soil they were grafted into. This is just an example, a real example of that.
That was going to be my next question. 2 to 3 success stories. What were there before, like you mentioned, versus the after?
We had a fella, Jamal, Costco, 20 years, management, 20.
Executive, actually.
Yeah. Ish, I'm saying ish, paraphrasing, but nearly 2 decades, wants to get into the financial space, never, ever a lick of experience in the insurance world, finds me through synchronicity and whatnot. He joins. He's been in the business 3 years at Fadaie. He's on track. We asked Grok. We have Grok heavy. We took his P&Ls and financials, put it in Grok. At the pace that he's on right now, after 3 years, he's looking to be at around 300,000 a year by the end of 2026.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So this person had those ingredients: emotional intelligence, tenacity, work ethic, patience, coachability, all of the virtues, right? What are the virtues? What are the fruits of the spirit, Jamie?
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
Applaud. This is what's required to create excellence. The commitment to that. These are the ingredients. That's what we use in our ecosystem. So that's another example. I have another example where I have this one gal who's a real estate person, realtor. Did real estate for probably 2 decades. Probably does very well, but we went to a seminar, convention, and she said, "I wish I would have done insurance 20 years ago, Cash." Well, you're here now doing it.
Yeah.
And I had to pull her away from real estate because you have to commit time unless you hire an agent. If you want to run this business without hiring an agent, you have to write business. So we had her commit the time to come in and do both for a while, which I don't recommend. You should be all in. But we made an exception. She agreed, and she's in here now, and she's writing $20,000, $30,000 deals.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she did commercial real estate. So for her, it made sense to kind of parlay.
But you do know what it was that made her make the decision to commit? It was when we showed her the compounding numbers.
Yeah. She understood how it works.
When you sell a policy, you get a commission up front. The renewal commissions for the next 9 years, we know our numbers. You don't do service work. Fadaie's service team does. So that means your time is free, not siphoned, and you're producing more business. When she saw the renewal income, that other stream of income, and the compound effect of that, because of our 90% retention, she was like, duh. It's so different than real estate.
Yeah.
Real estate requires me. I can't go to Cancun all the time. I have to be, in San Diego, and I have to show this, I have to do that. It's a different beast, right?
Yeah. You have to be there all the time.
Insurance clearly has an advantage over 99% of the industries out there, but it's tough to do. And that's where we come in.
Yeah, there's a learning curve for sure, but we have the training. So
You can pay to learn that and collapse your time, which is your most precious commodity. That's what the Fadaie franchise in a nutshell is.
mm-hmm.
And it's a tough nut. It's a macadamia nut. You know what about macadamia nuts? They're hard to crack. But what you find inside is the fat of the Fadaie method, right? It's the fattiest of all nuts. So if you want to get into that scrumptious fat in this metaphor, this is the Fadaie way. It's a tough business, but with Fadaie, you can crack it open, you can enjoy the fruit of your labor and create legacy. Cash flow is king.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm your cash protector, right? Go on. What else you have?
Well, I think we should just keep talking.
Sure, that's what a podcast is all about.
Right, but the questions you went through, basically all of them. So
Sure. Listen, I'm ready to discuss the nitty-gritty, but you know, we want to revolutionize the space because we truly feel that the independent model needs to stay. And I want to kick off this next section with AI. So AI is a big topic these days, right?
yeah,
Right. And there's a segment of people that fear AI, right? They say,
Definitely.
oh, well, AI is going to take over everything. I disagree. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make my case. AI, its potentially those fear-based segment, potentially they're right. It's up to us though.
definitely.
So one of Fadaie's strongest thought ideals is to make the human better.
Yeah.
See, here we have this apparatus. I think Elon Musk is an idiot. Let me just say that first, okay? He's genius in some ways, but he's an idiot, okay? So is all these other AI idiots out there. They're just money-hungry, fear-based, low consciousness. Don't listen to them. Don't go outside of yourself for the answers. The answers are within. The kingdom of heaven is within. This is the silver lining of every tradition out there. Okay. The way that we humans, Homo sapiens, overcome the onset of this fear-based thinking is to realize that this apparatus that we have, this avatar, this human meat suit that we have, these glands that we have, our nervous system, our physiology, there are latent centers. These organs have energies. They have certain powers that are dormant in most people. They're dormant. Unless these faculties become activated, we will stay in a fear-based nervous system, the fight, flight, freeze. That is where most humanity is right now. And that is how the ruling class, the 1%, rules over the masses through fear, through manipulation. Okay? What this ruling class does not want is unity. They don't want humans to realize who they are. Because if humans realize who they are, they become powerful. They ask better questions. Most people think of the same thoughts for the 70, 80 years that they're on Earth.
Yeah.
Their thoughts don't change. When you learn how to activate the energy centers within us, the gland centers, you will have a new plethora of thoughts. New questions will arise, and it leads to a heart opening.
Yeah.
When the heart opens, Then there is love, and love is intelligent. Then other centers open up within us, and it leads us to unity. We wake up to truth, and we realize truth is what we are. We are the essence of truth, you see? So how do we overcome AI? We don't have to defeat AI. AI is just a mirror of us.
Yeah.
So for humans to usher in the next chapter in human civilization, it's about realizing our true essence and activating our truth and realizing our unity and coming out of the rat race of good and bad. There is a field outside of that, which is truth. That's what we are. And once we change collectively, it just takes a few. That's what I'm talking about. Once we collectively wake up, not be woke, that's also a counterfeit. There's always a counterfeit for truth, by the way.
Like a partial truth, like truth woven in with
It's
lies.
laced. It's laced.
Yeah.
If you want to know how the dark force propagates, it uses truth with lies. It laces in lies and it dupes mankind.
Yeah.
But don't pick the blue and the red. These are all part of the same theater of forces. It's more about unifying with the truth that we already are, and then stabilizing that connection. And once we stabilize this connection of this inner kingdom of heaven, then it's contagious. And then the collective consciousness of this earth will shift so that in the database of humankind, there will be new options available. Those options are compassion. Those options are forgiveness. Those options are patience. Those options are compassion. Those then will become, if you double click on a decision-making process, because of the collective consciousness, those will appear as choices. And more humans will start clicking on those,
Right.
which are heart-centered. And then change takes place. So we have to become better humans.
Yeah.
It's not about AI's better than us. Lastly, this apparatus, listen up closely, this is very important, has the ability. The brain is not where consciousness exists. It's just an apparatus. So is the heart. This is an apparatus. It's way more advanced than this, and way more advanced than what Elon Musk with an old battery is, EVs, that's an ancient, it's not a new technology, it's just a battery. It's not about going to Mars. That's stupid. It's about going within. It's not about escaping the earth. We have everything we need. What we don't have is self-realization, right? When humans are able to get their physiology, nervous system dialed in through esoteric practices, fasting, prayer, meditation, exercise, you name it, there's many, fellowship, chanting, the list goes on, earthing, being connected to, sunlight, having sunlight, don't be scared of sunlight, earthing, walk on the earth, all of these things, you, the human, can access a higher data stream. Your consciousness can align with the consciousness of God, the unified field. I mean, it's not woo-woo when Albert Einstein says it, Nikola Tesla says it.
Exactly.
Many of our scientific heroes talk about energy as being fundamental. We are energy.
Yeah. Well, and even modern science, as we talked about before, the Heart Math Institute, one of the highest vibrational frequencies that's been mapped outside that comes emits itself outside of the human body is authenticity. 400 times more powerful than fear. 400 times.
And what's fear? False evidence appearing to be real. So most humans assume based on intellect. See, I'm saying we can transcend intellect. Intellect is only as good as the data given. But if the data given is erroneous, the outcome is erroneous. Listen closely. But if we can toggle into our intuitive by getting our system, our apparatus dialed in so we can receive higher data streams, wisdom, then we can channel that wisdom. May your will be done, not mine. That's what that means. I become a host of the living source of all being. This is what Christ and many of the gurus came to exemplify. You are it. It's not about waiting for something to come rescue you. You already have everything. Everything has been done. It's up to us now to herald in the presence by cleaning up, purifying this vessel so that we can usher in and have higher connectivity and stabilization with this higher data stream. When that higher data stream comes in, you walk out with confidence, with patience, with love, with equanimity, with exuberance, with joy.
Right.
And every interaction then changes because your thoughts are changed. So the outcome is going to be changed. Life is an algorithm. You bring about what you are, not what you manipulate.
Yeah.
Manipulation is only going to get you manipulation. It's not sustainable.
Well, manipulation causes polarization. So if you think about like the world as it stands today, there are many people on many sides of very controversial topics in the world. But what's happening is that all of these people are majoring in the minors of each given scenario, war, famine, genocide, whatever you may name it. Everyone has an opinion. The problem is when you polarize in those areas, what it causes is almost like the magnet effect. When you have two same ends of a magnet, it causes division, right? And so what you're talking about is bringing in the wisdom from above so that you're depolarized. You can treat every human that you meet with respect, regardless of their opinion, regardless of their affiliation, regardless of what they may think about X, Y, Z. That respect, love, honor, integrity, dignity, all of those things come naturally because you're above
Because
all
that's
of
what you
these
are.
things.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
That's authenticity.
Well, you're able to have a holistic view of what's actually happening.
Right.
Versus I'm going to take a side because I think that's right and you're wrong. And you could put anything in this mix of that scenario because polarization is so common. But when you're not living out of a fear-based mentality, rather, and you're living out of love and you're living out of purity and wisdom and peace, you approach life differently.
This may sound cliche to a lot of people because they're just words. These are words you've read before. These are words you've read in your Bibles. And I know it sounds trite. And I want to break off from that for a second. Again, this experience that is going to come to the human being, back to the apparatus, this physiological nervous system. I want to be very clear. This is not an intellectual study of those words that Jamie just uttered. That's not enough. Those are just words. There is an actual physical experience. When I say, and it's hard for me, I can say it to your ears, it may sound, unless you had the experience, it just sounds like poetry. You've heard it before. It's trite. But hear me clearly. When the individual, the aspirant, follows the path of Christ consciousness, self-realization, and they're earnest about it, and they're truly hungry to unify, to have communion and unity with the divine, there is an actual physical experience. The certain components within us enliven. There is a higher intelligence that comes. These are certain love spiritual powers that the individual gains. And so their operating system, that's a good metaphor, you change your firmware update. You level up and you're able to see through the good and bad. The good and bad, if you get entangled in that, you're still in the strata of ignorance.
Yeah.
It's the relinquishing and the transcending of both to come to truth. Because if you engage with both, you're still wrapped up.
But it's never ending.
It's never ending.
It doesn't end. Because there'll be something else that comes along tomorrow that will make you angry, that will make you upset and want to stand up for someone. And I'm not saying that that's a wrong thing. I'm not saying that at all. We have that as humans. That's a natural, innate thing that we have. But if you are focused on that, and that is your MO, so to speak, that can drain all of your life force, all of your energy.
So let's superimpose what you just said. When you become angry, because when you're enlightened, that still comes.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at anger differently. The former you, the Adamic you, looked at anger as a way to either you hide away from it,
Or something's wrong.
or you punish yourself or somebody with that.
Mm-hmm.
The new person who is under this purification process of stabilization, they look at anger as an alert system.
A teacher.
A teacher.
Yeah.
The perspective changes and you realize, I don't need to run away from this. This is not my foe. This emotion, this energy in motion is something that's trapped in me. It needs to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn to feel the anger.
Yeah.
You slow down because your mental dialogue as a result of purifying and esoteric practice, it's calm. So you can sit with that medicine and say, okay, where is this coming from?
Well, typically, the root of that is fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You then do the shadow work and you realize all of these emotions that I once thought or didn't even think about, I didn't even actually question them. That's what really happens. I just go along with this old nervous system, this old lens, and I'm winging it through life. That's what most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're scrutinizing emotions and thoughts.
Thoughts, that's the big key right there. Thoughts.
And with meditation, you're going to the source of thought, the unified field, the fourth state of consciousness. You have waking, dreaming, sleeping.
Yeah.
And within sleeping, you have REM. There is a fourth state of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
This is where thoughts come from. This is what Einstein called the unified field. See, Einstein had the unified field theory.
Yeah.
He was able to unify the forces of nature. There's four of them. There's gravity, electromagnetism, weak force, strong force. Einstein unified, it's called the GUT, the Grand Unified Theory. Einstein unified weak, strong, and gravity. Weak, strong, and electromagnetism.
Mm-hmm.
The unified field theory is when gravity, the fourth, is unified into this one unified field where all creation comes from. Last episode, we talked about what is fundamental in existence is not matter. It's information,
Yeah.
probability. So if we have access to the source of information within, which is the gap between thoughts, then we can align with this truth that sets us free,
Yes.
this peace that surpasses understanding, this higher wisdom, intelligence, and realize that that's what we are. And then we can bring that into our profession. We can bring that into our relationships, into our marriage, into our society, our community. We can then bring about the kingdom of heaven as it's talked about, right? So again, we go back to taking responsibility, not blaming or projecting problems. This is part of that good and bad. It's because of the government. It's because of this country. It's because of the military industrial complex. It's because of politicians. This is fear-based consciousness.
Yeah.
This keeps the ruling class alive.
Well, and they know that. That's why they proliferate fear-based thinking in all of media.
In the education system,
Yeah.
in the food supply, in the air supply, in media,
Yeah.
in everything is infiltrated with fear-based thinking.
That's why when we come at this from a different angle, people are like, "What? What are you talking about?" But in all reality, that's the thing that they're most afraid of, is all of us unifying. Like realizing that we're all human, we all bleed the same blood. We all want the best for our families and our loved ones. That's the reality of humanity. But if they keep having us majoring in the minors, in all of these little things, we look past our humanity.
They're capitalizing on our most precious commodity, which is time.
Yeah.
They can capitalize on fear because we're wrapped up with fear and our time is being siphoned out. Kind of like the Matrix. You remember those people that were in those capsules?
Definitely the Matrix.
Yeah, so they're in those capsules, right? And they think they're alive, but they're in a AI matrix. And they're in the Truman Show. And they're all in this capsule in reality, but they think that they're having a normal life. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in the matrix. Make no mistake about it. The broadcast and the transmission that we now are proliferating is a clandestine conversation to break through the matrix.
Yeah.
You have to realize who you are, what you're capable of. You have to do that by going within, going into more finer, more subtle levels of thought. When you quiet down your mental space, you become dangerous to the enemy because you will hear the true word. You see, you're so scattered, so busy, so choppy, you can't hardly see the reflection of the moon. I like to get a little poetic, a little bit metaphorical, because I'm trying to drive some truth into this conversation so you can extract meaning and comprehend, because these are sort of abstract. But this gives you a glimpse of our philosophy at the insurance agency. This is how we combined our spiritual life with our work life.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what we're about. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of going. I was listening to a podcast this morning about scaling your agency, and I thought it was great, but they're talking about things that are truth, but they're not foundational. Fadaie's approach is to go foundational. It's to go to the level of consciousness from that most fine level. If we correct that area, it's the principle of the highest first.
Right.
if you seek first the kingdom, which is the kingdom within, everything else shall be added to you, right?
Yeah.
That's the strategy. If you go and capture a fort, if you capture the fort, you get all the territories of the fort. Instead of capturing the bank or the marketplace, if you capture the center of the fort, the main headquarters, the Pentagon, if you will,
Yeah.
you get all the territories, right? That's our approach to insurance. It's insurance then becomes sort of automatic, a byproduct of sheer centeredness and authenticity.
How so? We have about 3 minutes left, so I'm curious how is that connected?
Because we're dealing with other Homo sapiens who also use signal and resonance and vibration. If they have a need, which they do because they toil all their life on earth, they work hard, sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears, they build, and they want to, when they exit the earth, they want to leave something behind to their offspring. It's important for them to have somebody that they can trust. If they're affording trust to somebody, that person then should be authentic. They should have cultivated authenticity and genuineness. If they lock into that person, that agent, that special agent who is conscious, who resonates in this level, that is a way for light and love and peace to come into the corporate world.
Yeah.
So if we live that in our personal life authentically, if we have mastered our temptations of gluttony, if we have mastered our temptations of lust, if we have mastered our temptations of materialism, fame, and power, this is childish. What we're seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, what we're seeing right now in our government is appalling. These monkeys are leading this world.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up. It's time for us to take back our dignity as humans. Humans have been around for 300,000 years, give or take. Not much has happened since 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, there have been improvements. 500 years ago, there have been more improvements. Right now, it's time, it's showtime. We have to make a decision today. Are we going to live in this third fear-based density planet? Or are we going to step into the fourth, fifth density of love, unity,
And integrity.
Those politicians are a reflection of who we are collectively.
Right.
Don't blame them. Wish you were better. If you better yourself, that's the message here. Here's the refined message. We're here to make our team better as human beings, scale our agency, and help other humans become better by bringing them into our ecosystem and fostering these fundamental ideals that we're broadcasting today on this podcast. That is our electromagnetic signature and contribution to Earth right now. And we've been selected, if you will, to do it through the vehicle of insurance, retail, broker, sales, and space through the Fadaie franchise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What else do you have?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much well said, right, Mike? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think we're good. So there you have it. Thank you for joining. We will be back every week and would love to continue the conversations. And we try to allow these conversations to be authentic, genuine.
Yeah.
Let it channel through whatever needs to happen. So thank you. Till next time.